Good morning. Hi, everybody. Another end of a week, another war, another day of waking up to, almost like the reality is just crazy, just unbelievable. More stranger than fiction. That's what I think. We are definitely in a time period of crazy miracles, interesting challenges, huge. It's a huge time period. So I wanted to talk about the Parsha and a little bit about Elul and what we can learn from the Parsha. This Parsha is Kitavo, when you come. That's what the words mean. And it says specifically, it's talking about the mitzvah of Bikurim. What is the mitzvah of Bikurim? Kitavo el haaretz, when you come into the land that Hashem your God has given to you. Velakachta mireshit tvuata, mireshit pri ha'adama, something or other. Hold on, I'm going to see what it says here. Velakachta mireshit bikurei admatcha, tavi beit Hashem elokecha. Take from the first fruits that you can find from your own field, from your own produce, and bring it to the Beit HaMikdash. And it was an amazing spectacle what happened then. Initially, when the first fruits come out of the tree or of the bush or whatever it is that you have, you see, it's the first little pomegranate, and you tie a red string around it so that you remember, this is what I'm going to take eventually to the Beit HaMikdash when it ripens. And there was like this whole time, and it happens on Sukkot, all the people in the entire country would fill up these huge baskets full of all their first fruit. And they would bring it to Yerushalayim, and it was an amazing spectacle. And all the artists and all the VIPs and all the officers and like, it was like you would have all these like serious, important people in society standing up and welcoming, like Lo Aleinu. Unfortunately, like what would happen in a funeral procession when we have like when a soldier falls. And the whole neighborhood gets up and stands there with flags to just like, for the funeral procession to go through. And you just see that everyone is honoring this person, and we're supporting them. And so the same seems to be like all throughout the streets of Jerusalem, as all these farmers really would come to Jerusalem with their baskets of fruit. The entire country, or the entire society, would stand up. I don't know if it was with flags, maybe it was with flags, and honor them. So, and the crazy thing, something strange, is that a midrash says, Bereshit bara Elokim, when it says at the beginning of the Torah that Hashem created the world in the beginning, this is referring to Bikurim. This is referring to Bikurim, to bringing those first fruits, because it's the same word, in the beginning, and the first fruits, Reshit and Bereshit. So that is like wild. And Netivot Shalom is asking, like, why this big hullabaloo, brouhaha, regarding these first fruits and the people who are bringing up the fruit? What's the big deal? And also, when the people bring in their fruits to Jerusalem, they have this whole like prayer that they say, or like a blessing that they say, and they start with mentioning all the way back in the history of the Jewish nation. They say, all these enemies came up against us. Lavan, Arami Oved Avi, the Aramean, who is considered Lavan, who is the father of Rachel and Leah, who was the father-in-law of Yaakov, and how our exile started all the way back then. And Yaakov fought against this father-in-law and eventually built the Jewish people. And we had all these other enemies, and we went to Mitzrayim, and we came back, and now we're here today. We're bringing you our first fruits. What is going on? It's a little strange. And it's like, it just seems out of proportion to what's actually going on. Okay, so we're bringing some fruits to Jerusalem. Thank you very much, Hashem. We should acknowledge that Hashem gave us the fruits. Call it a day. So Netivot Shalom says that really, it's amazing. This is Bereshit bara Elokim. This is the reason why Hashem created the world. Why did Hashem create the world? Do you know? Obviously you know. And it's not to serve Hashem. Guess what? It's not. Hashem doesn't need us. Hashem doesn't need us to serve him. It's like I was telling my students the other day, it's like if I just happened to find an ant farm, and this ant farm happened to be able to talk, and they said to me, listen, Deanie, you are amazing, you're awesome, we want to serve you, you're our God. I would say no thank you, because that is not helpful to me, because I can do so much more than you can do. I can do better, right? So Hashem, how much more so? He doesn't need us. Why did he create us? He created us for us. He created us in some way, and this is another topic for another discussion. Don't expect me to answer all your philosophical questions right now. But in some way, this is what Hashem wanted us. Hashem wanted us to be able to partake of his goodness, have a connection to him, have a relationship, and as a result, have the most meaningful, fulfilling, pleasurable life imaginable. Okay? That's what it's for. So it's not like Hashem could have easily, if he wanted somebody to serve him, he could have easily just had the angels serve him. But he wanted us, human beings, to bring him into this world, into all the schmutz, into all the difficulties, into all the challenges, into all the materialism and the Yetzer Hara and the physical world. And through those challenges, through the physicality, through the materialism, through the things that we do that are potentially distracting us from God, we need to elevate that. We need to bring God into this little world, into this ridiculous, nonsensical, crazy world. That's what Hashem wants us to do, and to bring him into our hearts and to have a relationship with him. So, what does that have to do with anything? When we take our first fruits, what is a first fruit? It really is representing all our investment, it's like so precious to us. It's like if you invested in something, if you have a farm and that's your career and that's where you get your livelihood and that's where you put all your efforts and all your talents and all your strengths, this is it. This is your pleasure in life. And then you take that first fruit and you say, you know what? I know that this is not me. This is for Hashem. I am giving this to Hashem. Not only am I acknowledging that Hashem gave it to us, and I'm thankful for that. That's great. And that's nice. And it's an appreciation. And appreciation is a very important part of building a relationship. So that's great. But that's not the only point. The point is that it's your precious thing. It's the most precious thing. It's something that is your investment. And it's so easy for you to say, listen, I did this, I really did this. This is me. And this is my effort. And it was because of my efforts that this came to be. And you just want to eat it. You want to take the pleasure of the fruits of your labor, right? Like you want to taste it already. You want to see what it's like. And instead you put yourself aside and you withhold your desires, and you kind of like fight the Yetzer Hara a little bit, and you take all this investment and you give it to Hashem. That means you are bringing Hashem into your life in a very, very meaningful way. And that's what it's all about. And I think that for today, what we can learn from this is that, and so that's why also all these people would come out and honor them, and there would be a lot of singing and dancing and partying, because it was like, wow, this is what the world was created for. These are people who can take what they've invested so much into, and they are able to come out and give it to Hashem and bring Hashem into their lives and elevate it. And so for our little lives, what I'm thinking is that if we can take our strengths and talents and really invest it into a spiritual endeavor, into serving Hashem, but not for him, but for us, into bringing our talents and strengths into a very important mission, where we can bring tikkun olam, where we can bring godliness into our lives. That is what I think that how we can get the idea from this parsha, and especially in Elul and coming towards Rosh Hashanah. What we have to think to ourselves is, what is our unique talent? What is our strength? What is our ability? And what is the thing that we've invested most in? And how do we elevate that? Now, just a little tiny little example. I was just thinking about it the other day. I love the gym. I love it. I just love working out, and I love doing aerobics. And even though at my age, I have actually been told that too much aerobics or too much exercise actually makes you hold on to the weight and not lose it and causes stress to the body. And you guys know me, how much I am dying to lose weight, dying. But all of that is not worth it for me to stop exercising, because I love exercising. It's who I am. I just get so much out of it. It's my joy in life. It's my desire. I really feel like I'm obsessed with it. Okay. So how do I take this obsession and make it into a spiritual endeavor? You're not going to believe it. I really found, I think, the recipe. This is just me, okay? But everybody has to find that in their own life. I have found that during a spinning class, which is total aerobics, and it's listening to secular music, and it seems like it's a total distraction from Hashem, I have learned to take that spinning class and use it for tefillah, for prayer. I can't even tell you. I am literally mumbling throughout the entire spinning class. And I am focusing on my meditation and my affirmations. And I bless everyone around me. I bless all of my children. I ask Hashem for different things for each and every child, what they need and what I need. And I affirm it over and over again. And I say Tehillim, and I bring up all these verses. I'm telling you. And then I also find in the songs themselves, little hints, little signs that Hashem is sending me, like living on a prayer, or, I just want, I don't need, nobody loves me as much as you do. How does that song go? Or I don't know, like so many songs, I find the deeper meaning in it. And I just find that I'm talking about Hashem and about my relationship with Hashem, and that, it's an amazing experience. I come out of a spinning class not only like invigorated physically or rejuvenated physically, but like I feel like I've had a whole hour of communing with Hashem. And I think all of us can do that in different areas of our lives. I'm not a big tzaddikas, believe me. I'm like the last person that you would think is like sitting and mumbling. They actually think, the girls around me, women around me, think that I'm just belting out the words of the song, or I'm singing the song, because I'm just literally talking throughout this session. And I think each and every one of us can think about that. How do we bring Hashem into our lives? Somebody's actually bashing my car right now. In so many ways, in the things that we're actually obsessed with, the things that we love so much, okay? And just like elevate it. Mindfulness. Try and think, come up with creative ideas on how to fight the Yetzer Hara, because that's what Elul is all about, and creative ideas on how to bring Hashem into our lives. Look at that creative idea that Israel had in Lebanon. Oh my goodness. We have to take those creative ideas and figure out a good strategy to fight this eternal war and hopefully win it. Have a good Shabbos.